Sounds good.
Just gonna do one thing real quick. I'm gonna make it just a little more of a vibrant color so I can see it a bit better. Thank you all for whoever donated the 20 bucks for this incentive. I appreciate you and your face. There we go. That's an eyesore. Perfect. Alrighty, so this is Slot Car Rivals. It is a racing game for the 3DS. It came out during the 3DS Direct, like back in 2016, I want to say. And it's a pretty interesting run, I'd say. If you've heard of the game Dragster, this is basically, imagine a speedrun of Dragster, except, well, sorry, not the speedrun. Imagine, like, if Dragster got, like, a kickstarted, like, spiritual successor. That's pretty much what this game is. And I'll get into why in a second. And as you know, the category is called All Courses Booster, and you see on the right that golden computer chip is the booster. It's set by the street pass tags you get, and it's actually determined by their height instead of, like, their shirt color or anything. And we're going to be doing this run in the Ghost Race mode, which is basically time trials, just so we can keep the same booster every time and not have to deal with all the play coin stuff. Alright, and I will start on this course here, and I'll give a countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. So what I was saying before about the Dragster thing is that this game uses a single button for all controls. You hold A to go and let go of A to stop. The thing, though, that makes it... There we go. You see there, I got 2 excellence on those curves. You have to let go of A on these corners and start holding it again at just the right time in order to get the best speed boost off of them. And there's actually something interesting with that. It's that if you're not at your top speed already, you can't get the boost whatsoever. So for a game like this, these little tiny things are going to add up real fast. Also, there's the horn. Thank you again for donating. There you go. Those ramps are pretty much just... I don't want to call them zippers, because it's not quite any faster or slower. But speaking of faster or slower, having 19 speed in your booster, which is the maximum speed, saves about... Well, it makes your car about 25% faster from what we've been able to determine, which helps out tremendously. Saves a good 2 minutes over the no booster version. And what I was saying before about taking... It takes about 1.5 seconds for your car to accelerate to full speed. And you can see here, we cannot, under any circumstances, hit that corner on the first lap. So we just go right over it. It seems like it's a bad thing, but with how fast we're going anyway, it's worth it. Like, you miss one corner, but you're a quarter faster the entire rest of the run. And there we go. These first few courses aren't anything too crazy. It's just kind of like the baby stuff. And I'm kind of taking menuing a little slow because there's a lot of time you can lose on menuing. And it's kind of weird the way it works. It's like there's certain animations that have to play through, and during those animations, your inputs won't count. It's the same across most of the Street Pass games, but in this game, the animation looks like it ends way before it actually does. So it can kind of take a little while. But you're gonna hear that, like, that high note on the... Like, I'll show you again. That, like, that da-da-da-da-da on that last note, that's when a lot of menuing will actually... This is the wrong course. I have made a grave mistake. Speaking of menuing properly, I have immediately menued improperly. But yeah, optimal menuing, you can kind of take it a little bit slow. It's almost like a frame rule sort of thing, but it's not super well known exactly how it works. One thing I haven't quite mentioned is that the courses I've been playing for the past 1 or 2, they have an EX on the bottom, if you were noticing on the touchscreen. And the way that works is that they are basically reversed versions of the previous courses. And like I said, those first couple ones, not a whole lot going on to them, but as we get to more advanced courses, they're gonna add a lot more different stuff as they start going in reverse. They also have different themes, and some of them are better and some of them are worse. And for Class B, they introduced these green zippers. And the key here is to hold A until the very start of the rainbow pad. Oops. And that's what happens if you miss time. And that can add up fast. Like, if you get crashes in certain places, it can lose upwards of 5 seconds. That one wasn't too bad. It's like, maybe like a little over a second. But the thing with these boosters here, or these zippers rather, is that you can release A during any spot on the rainbow pad there, but if you release it as soon as you possibly can, you'll go a little bit faster, and things like that save just little tiny bits of time, and over the course of the run, that's like, 10, 20 seconds. So playing optimally is pretty much playing frame perfectly. Like, can you get 19 557s in a row? I mean, it's not that precise, but you know what I'm getting at. And this course, the layout actually switched between laps 1 and 2. And it's going to switch back to the first one for lap 3. Oops, oh goodness. That one always gets me for whatever reason. And then as we're finishing up here, nothing too crazy. Now I am using touchscreen inputs to get to the Class B courses instead of hitting the LRR trigger twice. It's just more comfortable, and like I said with the menuing, you get kind of a little bit of leeway. And this course, first off, a corner skip right there. Well, I say skip, but it's basically just drive over it. Now these spirals, if you crash, you miss the next 2 pads at the very least. It's the same way if you don't get an excellent. And there is a boost called a cool where you mistime it almost to the point of a crash, but not quite as well as an excellent. It's really weird that it happens, and I'm probably going to donate like $5 for every cool, just because they're such an anomaly. There we go, perfect spiral on lap 3. It's basically what I was hoping for. And now for the EX version of the, I think it was called Start and Stop Island, now it's called Stop and Start. I'm sure they spent a lot of time naming that one. The course is reversed, and we immediately have a zipper. And one thing I haven't mentioned is that if you miss the zipper, you won't get the boosted speed, but you'll be put at your regular top speed, so you can still hit the corners right after. Now, hopefully that doesn't happen. But you can see, like, this ghost that's leading me, like, I'm catching up in just little bits, like, not even, like, 1 car length at times, and I'm... Oop, there we go. Still at top speed, though. If I'm not crashing, it's, like, just those tiny little increments, and they all add up. They all add up. And so, on the EX version of the city course, of course, the layout switches for laps 1 and 2. Now it starts with the lap 2 layout. And there we go. We had 2 corners we couldn't boost off of right at the start. Ooh, that's not good. There, oh, alright. Yeah, for whatever reason, like, some of these are just, I don't know. Hashtag blame the controller, I don't know. Alright, we got it a little better second time around, didn't crash. So that's good. That's good. And there was a little cute trick on the end of this course I'm going to show off, but this one introduces like a blue boost pad, basically. And the main trick for this course is to maintain the speed you get for the entire rest of the lap. You can see here. And if you hit either of those, if you crash on either of those corners, it's like the costliest in the game. Like, that's where you're going to lose like 5-10 seconds. Ooh, that one's not so bad. Well, not 10 seconds, like 3 to 5 rather. It's actually quicker to just miss them there. And we actually had so much speed going around the that lap there that we could actually just finish the race, and then with the deceleration speed we hit the ramp there. And that's just hilarious. It's great and I love it. And it only happens there. And I'm pretty sure it's only with 19 speed. And now here we got a bunch of zippers in a row, and it's mainly that last one that hurts if you miss it. Which of course I did. I'm just going to say it was for demonstration purposes. Demonstration. You can see there, I didn't get all excellence on that corner, and I still passed the ghost pretty easily. Like, minute differences can really add up. Like, sometimes you'll have an excellent that gets you less speed than missing. It's so strange. It's so strange. Now, this is the one course where slopes are going to kind of become a big deal. They've just kind of been there for the most part now. But they are going to affect our top speed just a little bit, and it's going to make trying to prepare for certain corners a little trickier. Because you get up to top speed faster, but you're also going at a much higher speed, so you have a little less time to prepare for each corner. That actually didn't go too bad. Never mind. I have immediately destroyed my credibility. Commentator's curse. You know, I'm just gonna not say anything about that. You know what? You know what? I have elected to decide that this did not happen. And if you guys are all for it, so am I. Oh. I mismenued again. And now, runs for this category usually use real time, but there is like in-game time counted separately. So menuing is pretty important, especially in like a marathon setting, which is always real time. And then for the EX version of the dinner table we'd seen before, we instead only have one booster, and we have to one boost pad rather, and we have to hold on to that speed for longer, going over 3 corners. And we've done it. It wasn't too bad, actually. And here's the course I mismenued to before, the EX version of the Cloud course that we done a little earlier. And it adds this interesting dynamic where right at the start, you have to just deal with the boosters in the corners. Excuse me, the zippers in the corners immediately. And then you have this here. It almost feels like a victory lap, because like now the easy stuff is at the end. Like there, that was pretty much a perfect lap. Never mind. Commentator's curse. And coming up after this, I got the big fears for what is the hardest course in the game. And I'll explain why when we get to there right now. So this is Mountain Coaster, and Mountain Coaster sucks. Right at the start, I'm actually going to switch my camera view to something a little more dynamic. This gives me a better view of this boost zipper here. And the activation window for it is tiny. I usually switch back, but I kind of didn't there. It is tiny. It's like the window for this is just barely there. 3 for 3 though is not bad one bit. Other than that crash, it's been a spectacular coaster. It's like it's like a handful of frames at most with the amount of speed we have. And so if you don't hit it, you lose like 3 seconds, and it is just not a good time all around. But we did hit it 3 for 3, and I am okay with that. And for whatever reason, they took out one of the spirals on the EX version of this course. Even though you'd be able to hit it just fine, it'd be right there at the base of this curve. And it's just not there. Like, what the heck, man? It took more effort to remove than to just leave it there. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're better than this. One more before the final. This is the EX version of the course that didn't happen. More or less plays the same. You deal with the slopes a lot earlier, but other than that, it's pretty much identical. So we're in the home stretch now. I have missed all of the corners. So this is Didn't Happen 2, Return of Jafar. Return of the King, Electric Boogaloo. Whatever silly sequel name you want to give it. Plays more or less the same. And something I haven't mentioned about the ghosts yet is that they're done in the Race with Rivals mode, which uses whatever booster you get via Street Pass. So it's not like I'm fighting my best times here. It's just fighting whatever I got in the regular mode. So here we are in the big final. Time is going to be, of course, when we cross the finish line on the 3rd lap. this is where you get the World Champ car in the first place. And I wish it had the music from the main mode, because it's a bangin' track. But unfortunately, we just have Time Trials theme. Ooh, that's not good. That's like, that one lost a lot of time, because there was the 2 corners right after. And just kind of had to like sadly slide into the zipper to get a little more of your speed back. Like, there we go, that was much nicer. Alright. Here we go. Alright, oh. I was gonna say 2 for 3. Time. So, that is Slot Car Rivals All Courses Booster. If you're interested in running this game, you can head to speedrun.com/SCR. There is an IL board if you just want to do 1 or 2. There's a no booster category if you don't want to go through all the hassle of setting up Street Pass. And the game is free to download. Like, free to download, free to own, like, forever. You can just get it, you can play through it, you can do IL runs if you really only want to do a little bit. And there's about a week left to sign up. There is going to be a tournament for All Courses No Booster, which is a really easy category to pick up and play. If you're interested, all the details can be found at speedrun.com/SCR, like I said. And there's also a Discord for all the other Street Pass Meet Plaza games. New ones are being added all the time if you'd like to join in and see what's going on. But that's it for me. Sloa, do you have my final time?
Yes, it is a 14:06 is what I...
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, it works for me.
It seemed fast, that's all I can say.
The world record is 13:31, but I think between the missed menus and the course that didn't happen, I can kind of see where the time loss came from. So that's pretty, I mean, yeah, not bad other than those things, I guess.
You did good.
Yeah. So that's it for me. Thanks for watching, folks.